All right, so Ant-Man 3 Quantumania, or should be Ant-Man and the Wasp 3 Quantumania. I like how this, so if you've seen the trailers, you've seen a little bit where it's, Scott Lang is walking around, and then shortly after his daughter's like, I've been sending messages to the quantum realm. And Janet's like, you've been doing what now? Shut the machine up, and the daughter's stuck in the quantum realm. So, in the majority of this film, it's the quantum realm. I mean, they spend a little bit of time in the beginning where it's like, here's what I've been up to. Scott wrote a book. He reads the book. Hope is now using PIM technology to solve lots of the world's problems. But some of the world's problems still exist, even ones they specifically talk about. Okay? Because we find out that Cassie, beyond having built a machine to contact the quantum realm, has also been arrested a couple of times and has built her own suit. That's good because, next thing they're all in the quantum realm. So now you've got 3 people with similar powers. I kept on thinking this would have been really cool if, Hank would have brought his suit. And I was like, you know what? Maybe Janet should have brought a spare suit too. You could have 5 people with virtually identical powers doing things in the quantum realm. There are moments in this that are absolutely fantastic. I was like, wow, this would have been trippy in 3D. It's almost a shame that this film came out very close with, Strange World, because a lot of them had this whole, we're going to go into the universe beneath our universe where weird tentacled creatures and they're flying on a space manta ray and drinking weird concoctions with aliens, and I'm like, man, I really wish this was a Star Wars movie. And of course, this is where King of the Conqueror is at, who is supposed to be the new big bad guy for Phase 5 and potentially Phase 6. I'm losing track with how much Marvel's doing. And the guy who plays him has fantastic gravitas. When he is in a scene, he does a great job. I mean, I feel like he could be incredibly dangerous. He talks about having destroyed groups of the Avengers, across the multiverse. And I'm like, okay. I wish that as they've done flashback sequences, that would have been great if they could have afforded it. Or, if he's killing a multiverse variant, would it really matter if you didn't have Chris Hemsworth? You have somebody else play a version of Thor. You could have had Kevin Nash play a version of Thor. That's a deep cut. I mean, there's lots of things that you could have done as he's like, I've killed realities. Okay, can we get more of that? We get like a little flashback, but I was like, let's build upon, if this is the guy who's supposed to be more devastating than the guy who went, okay, snap, and wiped out half. Yeah, like, I destroyed whole realities. Okay, can we build more with that? But they really don't. And you find a lot more about, like, ooh, Janet knows what's going on with him. Okay. Which they set up in the trailer. So I'm not saying anything that it hasn't been pre-established. And, it's really, visually, it's incredible to watch this. But it's also super inconsistent when it comes to the plot and it comes to the pacing. They're again trying to do part of the Phase 4 of like, well, you know what? If we just do like 100 jokes, and 40% of them hit, people think it's a funny movie. They do a lot of jokes, and I was like, some of these, I think they probably read cool, but when you're at this point in the movie with what's going on, this isn't really the time for a joke. Or someone dying for a very long period of time. And, for this being this massively incredible, potent villain, he felt menacing, but he didn't feel like he's powerful enough to defeat, the Avengers. My monitor shut down. Unless, of course, he's looking at taking on like a B squad of the Avengers. Like, if you look at who was there for Endgame and what they did, you know, if you would have had Stormbreaker Thor showing up, he would have made a tremendous amount of damage throughout this movie fairly easily. And I was like, okay. He feels menacing, but not as menacing as Thanos. Just kind of sad. So that's, you know, is it worth seeing in a theater? It's visually stunning enough to see it in a theater. I wish the film would have ended maybe like a minute or two sooner. Because the ending felt like it should have been this amazing joke that someone a few rows behind me went, that is the worst ending of a Marvel film I've ever seen. Because it tried to be funny and ended really just flat. It's like Return of the King where you're like, all right, we stand up. Nope, still going. This should be the end. Nope. I got like mid-credits to sit through and stuff too. Come on, let's wrap this up. So, if you were hoping this was going to be like the big slam dunk, this is going to be the Phase 5 starting off with this massive explosion and everything's going to make sense, not really. So now we'll get into some of the spoiler parts. So I'm going to give you a countdown of 5. Woo! 3, 2, 1. MODOK. Yeah, so it's Yellow Jacket. They just made his head really big. And it's weird. So of course they make a joke of like, someone's like, Darren, MODOK, yeah. And then when Cassie defeats him, and it's like, you know, just don't be a dick. I've been a dick for too long. It's never too late to stop being a dick. And I'm like, I know that probably seemed like it probably hit well while they're doing the reading. But after he, you know, shot a bunch of people and his, you know, like energy buzzsaws and stuff, it doesn't hit quite the way you thought it would. King the Conqueror, for being this really incredibly and powerful individual, was first stopped by Janet. Once you realize he's a bad guy, by making the core of his ship really big. So the most technologically advanced individual who had years and years and years of time to work on this, couldn't figure out PIM technology, but has a massive army and is planning on, once he can leave, to go back and attack time and space and then destroy all of the Avengers. Couldn't figure out PIM technology. And then he's defeated by the super intelligent ants who have spent a long time building a very technocratic society. Which does get Hank Pym to be like, yeah, I know socialism is a bad word and all, we really learn a lot from the ants. It's like, okay, so you're saying then that humankind could learn an awful lot from a genetically homogeneous group with an internal hierarchy based upon birth. But they have lasers. So Kang the Conqueror is defeated by an army of super intelligent ants with lasers. And like energy buzzsaws. But that doesn't fully defeat him because he ends up, you know, losing after all of his tech is destroyed in a fist fight with Ant-Man and Wasp. But that's okay because the Kang Dynasty doesn't refer to Kang the Conqueror. The mid-credit scene shows the same actor just in varying bad levels of makeup because Kang is not the individual. He was discovered by the Council of Kang. So I guess the army of Kang is what will take on the Avengers B team. And I was like, okay. I really wanted to like this film because I liked the first two Ant-Man movies. And there's moments that's really good, but also moments where I'm kind of like, I don't think we need, you know, some of the jokes we've got going on here. There are some moments where it felt like they thought they would have hit differently. Like when he's stuck in the probability storm and it's all the different Ant-Mans. And then, you know, when Hope flies in and it's all the different versions of Hope. You know, it's, well, at this point in time, it's all of your probabilities. And then once they all realize they all want to help his daughter, and then they kind of form like one giant, you know, Ant-Man. And there are some moments I'm like, this is good. I'm enjoying this. And then I'm kind of like, this movie's really inconsistent. But again, we have like the Jurassic Park problem where it's people are like, we can do this, and no one went, wait, what? Should we? What if we take a step back and go, let's evaluate what it is we're trying to do? I mean, that was Wakanda Forever. Why find an Ironheart? Why find a way to find vibranium? Okay. Does somebody sit down and kind of go, okay, you're trying to find vibranium, yeah. Are there any unintended consequences for trying to do this? No. Okay. Huh. What? Did we just start a war with the ocean? With this one. Yeah, you know what? I want to contact the quantum realm. Okay? And I have. That's some Janet's like, ooh, sorry, there's a dude there named Kane the Conqueror, who will only be able to escape if he gets some pin technology. Oh. So you just suck down like the 5 people who have access to the tech that it would take to have him to become free and then destroy all of reality. Oh. You have all the intelligence to do these things, but you don't have the wisdom to know why people haven't done these things in the past. It's like, okay. It's like, so technically everything that happens from this point on forward is because Cassie decided she wanted to contact the quantum realm. It's okay. It's like, so when the Council of Kang shows up and they decide to kill all these people, when Kane the Conqueror decided to show up, even though he was attacking an oppressed group of people, and he started to kill all of them. You know, that was her unintended consequences. Okay. She learned from becoming a better hero? Probably. But there's a lot of that, like, what are you doing to save the world? I literally have saved Earth. Well, technically, it's, you know, he saved half of all living things. Like, what have you done recently? Yeah, like, I wrote a book, and I'm trying to have a normal life. And oh, hey, you know, Hope is using this technology to help solve world hunger and help solve homelessness. I was like, okay. I think we saw the move where Matt Damon became, like, shrunk down. And I was like, well, you know, easy way to solve homelessness? Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to shrink all of them down. Oh, okay. We put them inside tiny homes. Legit tiny homes. Make whole tiny communities. It's like, why not? Well, oh man, people are starving. Okay, watch this. Take the same stuff. That apple, bloop, giant apple. This kernel of corn, bloop, giant kernel of corn. It's like it solves pretty much all of the world's problems. We can count the quantum realm. There's plenty of problems here we can deal with first that a person was actually dealing with. And, you know, I was like, well, I'm still looking forward to Guardians 3. And I'll see how well they do with that. And then maybe I'm thinking a lot of Marvel films now might become wait for Disney Plus. Like Thor Love and Thunder. You know, I had zero desire to see it in theaters. I saw it on Disney Plus now. I was like, that worked out well. Same with Black Widow, Shang-Chi, The Eternals. I haven't watched most Disney Plus shows, but I'm like, you know, I'm thinking like they did well up into phase 3, and then they kind of went, we have enough goodwill, we can put something that's not really good. I know this is getting hammered on Rotten Tomatoes. Is it as bad as Love and Thunder? No. No. Is it as good as like phase 3 stuff? No. Better than most of Phase 4? That's a low bar, but yeah. Are they going to do another one? I don't know. I really don't. It seems like there's this huge wealth of things they can pull from to make these movies, and they're just not seeming to really go with the stuff that is going to connect well. And it's going to be written well and translates well into something that really, is good. And as good as what has come before it. I mean, they set the bar pretty high. And then they drop that bar down low. Way low. In Phase 4. In Phase 5, not off to the best start.